Good evening. It is April 24, 2024, and it's a Wednesday. Here in Sherbrooke, it is currently 1 degree Celsius, 33 degrees Fahrenheit. Earlier it was freezing. Actually, I've had to restart my weather report since I ran out of space on my phone, which surprised me since I had cleared up some space earlier. So I'm starting this again. It is 6:15 p.m. It was negative 1 degree Celsius earlier. When I woke up today, actually when I got out of bed around 1 p.m., it just now I feel like my weather report that I was recording earlier was way better than this, and I'm trying to tread the same ground, but worse, because it's less natural. But anyway, it was snowing earlier, and when I got out of bed, I woke up at 9 o'clock in the morning, but went back to bed afterwards. I woke up at 9 because I was going to go do something really stupid. Not risky or dangerous stupid, but just not a good use of my time, sort of stupid. But that fell through. So I got out of bed at around 1, which is better than 2 p.m. So I feel good about that. I had to convince myself to leave the house, and I did that by going to the local game store and buying Magic the Gathering cards. But I'm glad that I did, because shout out to Phil, who works the Magic the Gathering counter at the Le Griffon on Wellington North. Such a great guy. He found all the cards I was looking for. There was one, Felden's Cane. I'll show you here. Felden's Cane here, which he was having difficulty finding. So he looked in one spot and he's like, I can't find it. So he found the other cards. I'll show you the other cards, actually. A perennial behemoth. So, you see that? Basically, I can play lands from my graveyard. Felden's Cane will allow me to shuffle my graveyard into my library, because it is very difficult to interact with lands, which is one of the reasons why this landfall commander deck is fun to work with. But the issue is that it is easy to interact with graveyards and get cards out of graveyards, so I want to protect my graveyard. But I have a card here to get lands into my graveyard, and also trigger landfall. This is the main card I wanted to get here. One of them, Ramunap Excavator. I can play lands from my graveyard. And this weird old land, Ghost Town, where I can bounce it back to my hand on my opponent's turns, which, along with Undiscovered Paradise, is just really great to have lands that I can just bring back to my hand. Because I only have 41 lands in my deck, and that is a limited number. So it's good to be able to guarantee also if I don't have any other lands left in my hand. But also, what he did, so then he was like, I can't believe I don't have a Felden's Cane. So he looked in another spot. And then, as he was just rounding up the other cards, he was like, let me just check one more spot. And he did, and he found it. And then what he did is, after that, he was like, one second, let me check one thing. So I'd ask for an Inspiring Vantage, because I wanted to get that for my modern deck for tomorrow. And I knew it was a long shot. I checked again last week, and they didn't have another one. I've checked several times. And he just, goes behind the counter into this box of just random cards. Don't know what they were for. And he just takes 3 cards that are in inner sleeves, and just puts them down, face down, onto the counter. And I'm like, what's that? And he doesn't say anything. And then I ask him, can I look at it? And he says, do you want to look at it? I said, yeah. And I turned it over, and it was 3 copies of Inspiring Vantage. The cheaper one, too, the one that was just reprinted. And so I took one. And now I have 4 copies of Inspiring Vantage for my modern deck. Fantastic. Today I'm thinking about the shout out to Phil. By the way, shout out to Le Griffon. If you ever come to Sherbrooke and want to buy Magic the Gathering products, or board games, or anything like that, go to the Keep Phone. A great spot. I've always had a fantastic experience there. Today I'm thinking of the Mountain Goats. Speaking of Magic the Gathering, John Darnielle is a big Magic the Gathering fan. Um, and I'm thinking about the song Murder at the 18th Street Garage. I had to look at it because I listened to Jenny from Thebes. I had not been a fan of what the Mountain Goats have been putting out for quite some time. Ever since Beat the Champ, which came out in 2014, I believe. Let's check that out. 2015. Came out in 2015. I did not like goths. I very specifically, did not like In League with Dragons. I don't think it's a good album. From what I heard of Getting Into Knives, I did not like it that much. Dark in Here, I didn't even listen to it. I even skipped Bleed Out, although I think I'm gonna like Bleed Out. And here we are, Jenny from Thebes. I had heard this song, Murder at the 18th Street Garage, and was excited when I heard it because it's a good rock song. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is I don't think it's the best song on it. I like hearing the Mountain Goats in just sort of simple rock song mode. But I will say about the rest of the album, I decided to give it a chance, and I'm glad I did because it's really good. I love the arrangements on it, especially on Clean Slate and Ground Level, Cleaning Crew, really like Water Tower. There are some songs, specifically I would say Going to Dallas, where the arrangements I find very corny, which is one of the main reasons why I sort of fallen off from their more recent work, because I just found the arrangements to be super corny. But also I think it's something that I just have to accept. If I'm going to be a Mountain Goats fan in 2024, some of the arrangements are going to be corny. Or I'm going to find some of the arrangements corny, and that's it. I just don't get the whole, like, adult contemporary vibe of some of the arrangements and some of the songs that they've had. I'm also just not a huge fan of the electric piano, and, well, that's an instrument that John Darnielle was really into for a bit. He's been playing more guitar lately. It's a concept album, a rock opera about Jenny, who's a character from All Hell West Texas, which is a masterpiece. One of the best. Maybe I would consider it to be the best Mountain Goats album. But I was thinking about the Mountain Goats for two reasons. I'll start with this. I was thinking about the Mountain Goats because I was actually listening to the Mountain Goats last night. I was listening to what I believe is called Sinaloan Milk Snake Song, but it's also spelled Sinaloon Milk Snake Song in some other places. I looked on Discogs, and there's no actual track listing printed on the CD for Zopilote machine. And it would make more sense for it to be called Sinaloan Milk Snake Song, but in the like automatically generated YouTube upload the track that's done by streaming distributors. It does say Sinaloon Milk Snake Song. Also, I recall when I was in high school, I downloaded a copy of the album from a Blogspot blog, which, by the way, young people, is anybody here that's younger than me, who didn't experience this was a great time in music piracy. It was pre-streaming, obviously. This is like the mid to late 2000s. I guess starting in the early 2000s, and it was really strong in mid 2000s. So you wouldn't have like playlists and stuff like that on streaming services because they didn't exist. And this was also like post-mix CD, but a lot of piracy was done through curated blogs. Now there are like YouTube accounts that will post albums. I remember when for so the first two Hoodoo albums, we'd actually like contacted some accounts and like actually paid them, and they upload our album to their account for like exposure, you know. That was Raggle Taggle, the first one, and Lotka Volterra, the second Hoodoo album. But yeah, you'd have these blogs which were just like, it was curated music piracy. It was fantastic. So like, I was really into the whole like freak folk scene. And there's a ton of stuff that I found off of blogs. So anyway, I discovered the Mountain Goats by finding a copy of Zopilote Machine on a blog, and it was spelled Sinaloon Milk Snake Song in there. But, you know, another thing that I recall is one time I downloaded Color Green by Sybille Bayer, which is in my top 5 favorite albums of all time. And the track listing was in the incorrect order. And I eventually bought it on CD years later, and I just couldn't get used to the true order of it. But now I've listened to it enough times in the correct order that it flows naturally to me. But I want to remember what the old order was to see how it would feel to listen to it in that old order. And yes, so, but then also there's somebody who watches, hello, and commented about the Mountain Goats, because I'd asked this person in the comments to tell me what they were listening to, and because they'd recommended an album before. Anyway, we were talking about Joanna Newsom, and so they told me they were listening to the Mountain Goats. So it made me think more about the Mountain Goats. But the reason why I was thinking about the Mountain Goats last night, and now thinking about them again today, because of this comment. But initially, it was because I was listening to the song I Remember by Bully, which is a great song. And then I was thinking, like, it sort of sucks that I'm not, like, I'm disappointed that I'm not as into what Bully sounds like now. Although I did listen to Bully, one of the songs off of her new album. I actually really liked it. It's become more pop. It was always sort of pop, but it had the sort of like grunge aesthetic that I like a lot. But then there is the song I Remember, which is just this like, it's catchy, but it's very raw, it's aggressive, it's direct. I love the lyrics. And yeah, nothing else she's done has really sounded like that. I mean, a couple songs off of Feels Like, but then, yeah, then I remembered, so I was thinking about the Mountain Goats, and I listened to that, and then I remembered, like, wait a second. Alicia Bagnano of Bully is in the Mountain Goats now, which I had totally forgotten. And it's just, like, what? How did that happen? And it's this musician that I really admire, although I'm not really much of a fan of the last 2 records she did, although I will be listening to the new record, which I hadn't listened to. I can't say that I wasn't a fan of the new record, because I hadn't listened to it. I guess I wasn't a fan of the previous one, and then I'd heard a couple singles from the new record. Anyway, I'll listen to it, but I think she's a really good musician, and she's in the Mountain Goats. Insane. And it's great. I listened to a couple songs off of Bleed Out as well, which she was involved in as well, and it was much more rock fueled. But so anyway, I love the arrangements on here. Some of them I still find a bit corny on Jane from Thebes, but lyrically it's great. I mean, the lyrics of Water Tower really stood out to me. Sort of very pre-song with lyrics about a dead body in a water tower. Very Mountain Goatsian. But Murder at the 18th Street Garage is just, it's simple. It's a straightforward rock song. It's got a lot of energy. And that's I guess I'll end on this. That is the one thing that I've sort of missed in a lot of, post-transcendental youth. Mountain Goats is, sometimes I just feel like it just lacks that punch, that a lot of the stuff they've had. Even if it wasn't like, faster rock songs, there's like a certain punch. The Mountain Goats have never been the band with the sharpest edge, but sometimes I feel like it's just lacking that oomph, you know. Later today, it's probably going to freeze again. Yeah, it's going to freeze again in like an hour and a half. It's going to get down to, I mean, it's 1 degree. Let me just even refresh because I've been talking for 15 minutes. Yeah, it's 0 degrees Celsius, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. It's literally freezing right now. And it's going to keep getting lower and lower until it gets to -3 degrees Celsius, 26 degrees Fahrenheit. Why is it snowing? Why is it freezing? I don't know. And all that's left is to see. Sun rose at 5:46 a.m., which I think was later than yesterday. I'm not sure. But I know that the sun has been out today, or will be out today for longer than yesterday, because it rose at 5:46 a.m. and will set at 7:46, meaning that is an even 14 hours of sunlight. And here's the thing, the sun's out again. As I was walking back from, I was walking to the phone, the sun came out. It was so much warmer. It was windy. I was just like not into being outside. I really had to force myself. But I went to the grocery store. I forgot to get melatonin. Shit, I have to go back out. I'm going to go do that right now. I need to get melatonin. I think I'm going to get some sparkling water. Because it's a nice treat. Right now, as I end this, sun is peeking out of the clouds. See it through my curtain. Right. You know what? Oh my God. Oh, look at this. Look at this. You can see it on my face. I will go back out into the world to get some melatonin. And I will enjoy the final remnants of these beautiful blue skies and this golden sunshine all along the way. Everyone, have a great rest of your day.